Vampire Academic Book 1, Chapter 18. I woke up at the starting at the boring white ceiling of the clinic. A filtered light smoothing to the Morai patients shone down on me. I felt strange, kind of disoriented, but I don't hurt. Rose. The voice was like silk on my skin, gentle, rich. Turning my head, I met Grimmett's dark eyes. He sat in a chair beside the bed I lay on, his shoulder length brown hair hanging forward and framing his face. Hey, I said, my voice coming out as a croak. How do you feel? Weird, kind of groggy. Dr. Oldenreich gave you something for the pain. You seemed pretty bad when you brought you in. I don't remember. How long have I been out? A few hours. Must have been strong. Must still be strong. Some of the details came back. The branch, my ankle getting caught. I could not remember much after that. Feeling hot and cold, and then hot again tentatively. I tried moving the toes on my health foot. I don't hurt at all. He shook his head. No, because we are not seriously injured. The sound of my ankle cracking came back to me. Are you sure? I remember the way it went. No, something must be broken. I managed to sit up so I could look at my ankle, or at least sprained. He moved forward to stop me. Be careful, your ankle might be fine, but you're probably still a little out of it. Carefully shifted to the edge of the bed and looked down. My jeans were rolled up. The ankle looked a little red, but I had no worries or serious marks. God, I got lucky. If I could hurt it, it could have put me on the out of practice for a while. Smiling, he returned to his chair. I know you kept telling me that while I was carrying you. You were very upset. You carried me here? After we broke the bench apart and freed your foot. Man, I could miss out on a lot. The only thing better than imagining Grimmett carrying me in his arms was imagining him shirtless while carrying me in his arms. Then the reality of the situation hit me. I was taken down by a branch. I groaned. What? I survived the whole day gardening Lisa, and you guys said I did a good job. Then I get back here and met my downfall in the form of branch. Ugh, do you know how embarrassing it is? And all the guys saw too. It was not your fault, he said. No one knew the bench was rooted. It looked fine. Still, I should have just stunk to the sidewalk like a normal person. The other non boys are going to give me shit when I give back. His lips held back a smile. Maybe. Presence will cheer you up. I sat up straight. Presents? The smile escaped, and he handed me a small box with a piece of paper. This is from Prince Victor. Surprised that Victor could have given me anything, I read the note. It was just a few lines, hastily scrawled in pen. Rose, I'm very happy to see you. You don't suffer any serious injuries from your fall. Truly, it is a miracle. You lead a charmed life, and Vasaliza is lucky to have you. That is nice of him, I said, opening the box. Then I saw what was inside. Wow, very nice. It was the rose necklace, the one Lisa had wanted to get me but could not afford. I held it up, looping its chain over my hand to the glittering, diamonds covered rose hung free. This is pretty extreme for a get well present, I noted, recalling the price. Hey, he actually bought it. It's an honor of you doing so well on your first day as a guardian, as an official guardian. He saw you and Lisa looking at it. Wow, it was all could say. I don't think I did the good of a job. I do. Grinning, I placed the necklace back in the box and set it on the nearby table. You said, say presents, right? Like more than one? He laughed outright, and the sound wrapped around me like a caress. God, I love the sound of his laugh. This is from me. He handed me a small plain bag. Puzzled and excited, I opened it. Lip gloss, the kind I liked. I could complain to him a number of times how I'm running out, but I could never thought he was paying attention. How could you manage to buy this? I saw you the whole time at the mall. Guardian secrets. What is this for my first day? No, he said smoothly. Because I thought it could make you happy. Without even thinking about it, I leaned forward and hugged him. Thank you. Judging from his stiff posture, I could clearly caught him by surprise, and yeah, I could actually caught myself by surprise too. But he relaxed a few moments later, and when he reached around and rested his hands on my lower back, I thought I was going to die. I'm glad you are better, he said. His mouth sounded like it was almost in my hair, just above my ear. When I saw you fall, you thought, wow, she's a loser? That's not what I thought. He pulled back slightly so he could see me better, but we don't say anything. His eyes were so dark and deep that I wanted to dive right in. Starting at them made me feel warm all over, like they had flames inside. Slowly, carefully, those long fingers of his reached out and traced the edge of my cheekbone, moving up the side of my face. At the first touch of his skin on mine, I shivered. He wound a lock of my hair around one finger, just like he had in the gym. Swallowing, I dragged my eyes up from his lips. I could be complaining what I could be like to kiss him. The thought both excited and scared me, which was surprised. I could kiss a lot of guys and never thought much about it. No reason another one, even an older one, should be the big of a deal. Yet the thought of him closing the distance and bringing his lips to mine made the world start spinning. A soft knock sounded at the door, and I hesitantly leaned back. Doctor Oldiswick stuck her head in. I thought I heard you talking. How do you feel? She walked over and made me lie back down, touching and bending my ankle. She assessed for damage and finally shook her head when finished. You're lucky. With all the noises you made coming in here, I thought your foot had been armchair must have been shocked. She stepped back. I could feel better if you sat out from your normal trainings tomorrow, but otherwise you are good to go. I breathed a sign of relief. I don't remember my hysteria and was actually kind of embarrassed that I could have thrown such a fit, but I had been right about the problems this could have been caused me if I could broken or sprained it. I could not afford to lose any time here. I needed to make my trials and graduate in the spring. Doctor gave me the okay to go and then left the room. Jimmet walked over to another chair and bought me my shoes and coat. Looking at him, I felt a warm blush sweep me as I recalled what had happened before the doctor had entered. He watched as I slipped on one of the shoes on. You have a guardian angel. I don't believe in angels, I told him. I believe in what I can do for myself. Well, then you're having an amazing body. I glanced up at him with a questioning look. For healing, I mean, I heard about the accident. He don't specify which accident it was, but it could only be one. Talking about it only bothered me, but with him, I felt I could say anything. Everyone said I should not have survived, I explained, because of where I sat and the way the car hit the tree. Lisa was really the only one in a secure spot. She and I walked away with only a few scratches. And you don't believe in angels or miracles? Nope, I truly it is a miracle. You lead a charmed life, and just like that, a million thoughts came slamming into my head. Maybe I had a guardian angel after all. Trimit immediately noticed the shift in my feelings. What's wrong? Reaching out in my mind, I tried to expand the bond and shake off the lingering effects of the pain. Meditation, some more of Lisa's feeling came through at me, anxious, upset. Where is Lisa? Was she here? I don't know where she is. She could not leave your side while I brought you in. She stayed right next to the bed, right up until the doctor came in. You calmed down when she sat next to you. I closed my eyes and felt like I might faint. I had calmed down when Lisa sat next to me because she could take the pain away. She healed me just as she had the night of the accident. It all made sense now. I should not have survived. Everyone said so. Who knew what kind of injuries I could actually suffered? Internal bleeding, broken bones. It don't matter because Lisa had fixed it, just like she could fix everything else. That was why she could be leaning over me when I woke up. I was also probably why she could pass out. When they took her to the hospital, she could be exhausted for days afterwards, and that was when her depression had begun. It had seemed like a normal reaction after losing her family, but now I wonder if there was more to it. It healing had played a role. Opening my mind again, I reached out to her, needing to find her. If she could heal me, there was no telling what shape she could be in now. Her moods and magic were linked, and this had been a pretty intense show of magic. The drug was almost gone from my system, and like that, I snapped into her. It was almost easy now. A viral wave of emotion hit me, worse than when her nightmares engulfed me. I could never felt such intense from her before. She sat in the chapel attic crying. She don't entirely know why she was crying either. She felt happy and relieved that I could be unharmed, that she could be able to heal me. At the same time, she felt weak in both body and mind. She burned inside like she could lost part of herself. She worried I could be mad because she could use her powers. She dreaded going through another school day tomorrow, pretending she liked being in the crowd, who had no other interest aside from spending their family's money and making fun of those less beautiful and less popular. She don't want to go to the dance with Aaron and see him watch her so orderingly and feeling him touching her when she felt only friendship for him. Most of these were all normal concerns, but they hit her hard, harder than they could an ordinary person, I thought. She could not sort through them or figure out how to fix. You okay? She looked up and brushed the hair away from where it stuck to her wet cheek. Christian stood in the entire entrance of the attic. She could not have heard him come up to the stairs. She could be too lost in her own grief. A flicker of both longing and anger sparked within her. I'm fine, she snapped. Sniffing, she tried to stop her tears, not wanting him to see her weak. Leaning against the wall, he crossed his arms and wore an unreadable expression. Do you want to talk? Oh, she laughed harshly. You want to talk now after I tried so many times? I don't want that. That was Rose. He cut himself off and I flinched. I was totally bursted. Lisa stood up and strode towards him. What about Rose? Nothing. His mask of indifference slipped back into place. Forget it. What about Rose? She stepped closer, even though her anger he still felt the inexplainable attraction to him. And then she understood. She made you, don't she? She told you to stop talking to me. He started stonily ahead. It was probably for the best. I could have just messed things for up for you. You could not be where you are now. What is it supposed to mean? What do you think it means, God? People live or die at your command now, Your Highness. You are being kind of melodramatic. Am I? All the day I hear people talking about you, what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're wearing, whether you will approve, who you like, who you hate. They are all your puppets. It is not like that. Besides, I had to do it to get back at Mia. Rolling his eyes, he looked away from her. You don't even know what you're getting back at her for. Lisa's anger flared. She set up Jazz and Ruff to say those things about Rose. I could not let her get away with that. Rose is tough. She could have gotten over it. You could not see her. You don't see her, she replied obstinately. She was crying. So, people cry. You're crying. Not Rose. He turned back to her, a dark smile curling his lips. I have never seen anything like you two. Always so worried about each other. I get her thing, some kind of weird guardian hang up, but you're just the same. She is my friend. I guess it is that simple. I could not know, he signed, momentarily thoughtful, then snapped back to his characteristic mode. Anyway, Mia, so you got back at her over that what she did to Rose, but you're missing the point. Why did she do it? Lisa frowned because she was jealous about me and Aaron. More to it than that, princess. What did she have to be jealous about? She already had him. She don't need to attack you to drive at that home. She could have just made a big show of being all over him, sort of like you are now, he added wearily. Okay, what else is there then? Why did she want to ruin my life? I never did anything to her. Before all this, I mean. He leaned forward, crystal blue eyes boring into hers. You're right, you don't. But your brother did. Lisa pulled away from him. You don't know anything about my brother. I know he screwed Mia over, literally. Stop it, stop lying. I'm not. Swear to God or whoever else you want to believe in. I used to talk to Mia now and then, back when she was freshman. She was not very popular, but she was smart. Still is. She used to work on a lot of committees with royals, dance and stuff. I don't know about all of it, but she got to know your brother on one of those, and they sort of to go together. They did not. I could have known. Andre could have told me. Nope, he don't even tell anyone. He told her not to either. Her convinced her it should have been some kind of romantic secret when really he could just want to any of his friends to find out he was getting nagged with a non-royal fisherman. If Mia told you that, she was making it up, exclaimed Lisa. Yeah, well, I don't think she was making it up when I saw her crying. He got tired of her after a few weeks and dumped her. Told told her she was too young and that he could not really get serious with someone who was not from a good family. From what I understand, he was not even nice about it either. Don't he even bother with that let's be friends stuff? Lisa pushed herself into Christian's face. You don't even know Andre. He could never do done that. You don't know him. I'm sure he was nice to his baby sister. I'm sure he loved you, but in school with his friends, he was just as much of jerk as the rest of the royals. I saw him because I see everything. Easy when no one notices you. She held back a sob, unsure whether to believe him or not. So this is why Mia hates me? Yep, she hates you because of him. That and because you're royals and she's insecure around all royals, which is why she worked so hard to claw up their ranks and to be their friends. I think it is coincidence that she ended up with your ex-boyfriend, but now that you're back, that has probably made it worse. Between stealing him and spreading those stories about her parents, you guys really picked the best ways to make her suffer. Nice work. The smallest pang of guilt lurched into inside of her. I still think you're lying. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. That is your department, and Rose. We don't exaggerate stories about people's families. Say that you hate me. Pretend to be friends with people you think you're stupid. Date a guy you don't like. I like him. Like or like. Oh, there is a difference? Yes, like us when you date a guy. Blunt moron and laugh at his stupid jokes. Then, out of nowhere, he leaned forward and kissed her. It was hot and fast and furious, an outpouring of the rage and passion and longing that Christian always kept locked inside of him. Lisa had never been kissed like that, and I felt her respond to him. How he made her feel so much more alive than Aaron or anyone else could. Christian pulled back from the kiss but still kept his face next to hers. That is what you do when someone's you like. Lisa's heart pounded with both anger and desire. Well, I don't like or like you. And I think you and Mia are both lying about Andre. Auron could never make up anything like that. That is because Auron does not say anything that requires words of more than one syllabus. She pulled away. Get out. Get away from me. He looked around comically. You cannot throw me out. We both signed the lease. Get out, she yelled. I hate you. He bowed. Anything you want, Your Highness. With a final dark look, he left the attic. Lisa sank to her knees, letting out the tears she could have held back from him. I could barely make sense out of all the things hurting her. God only know things upset me, like Jess incident, but they don't attack me in the same way. They swelled within her, beating at her brain. The stories about Andre, Mia's hate, Christian's kiss, healing me. This I realized was what real depression felt like, what madness felt like. Overcome, throwing in her own pain, Lisa made the only decision she could, the only thing she could do to channel all of these emotions. She opened up her purse and found the tiny razor blade she always carried. Sickened, yet unable to break away, I felt as she cut her arm, making perfectly even marks, watching as the blood flowed across her white skin. As always, she avoided veins, but her cuts were deeper this time. The cutting stung horribly, yet in doing it, she was able to focus on the physical pain, distract herself from the mental anguish so that she could feel like she was in control. Drops of blood splattered onto the dusty floor, and her world began spinning. Seeing her own blood intrigued her. She had taken blood from others her entire life. The fetus, now, here it was, leaking out, with her nerves giggling. She decided it was funny. Maybe by letting it out, she was giving it back to those who could stolen it from, or maybe she was wasting it, wasting the scared dragmorai blood that everyone's obsessed over. I got forced my way into her head, and now I could not get out. Her emotions had enscouraged me now. They were too strong and too powerful, but I had to escape. I know it with every ounce of my being. I had to stop her. She was too weak from the healing to lose this much blood. It was time to tell someone. Breaking out at last, I found myself back at the clinic. Drimit's hands were on me, gently shaking me as he said my name over and over in an effort to get my attention. Doctor stood beside him, her face dark and concerned. I started at Drimmit, truly seeing how much he worried and cared about me. Christians had told me to get help, to get someone I trusted about Lisa. I could ignore her that advice because I don't trust anyone except her. But looking at Drimmit now, feeling that sense of understanding we watched we shared, I know that I did trust someone else. I felt my voice crack as I spoke. I know where she is, Lisa. We have to help her.